So what would you say was the biggest challenge that you faced with getting the whole thing off the ground? Was it money? Was it resources? Was it time? Was it a bit of everything?
A bit of all of those. On a personal level, it was getting over my own self with all the doubts and the concerns and having to get it perfect right from the word go. And then obviously the financial side of it as well, because we're a CIC company. We rely heavily on funding and grants currently, and also to get it okay for others and to others to understand what it is that we do, what we offer, and know that it is a safe space, and creating that safe space for people to be in as well.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to find out a little bit more about Soul Haven on the show, and this week we're talking permaculture principles, so we're going to find out a little bit about that. And to do that, let's cross over to Samuel, who is Mr. Permaculture. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
I don't know if I should get you a T-shirt with that written on, Mr. Permaculture. Maybe we can come up with a better name for you than that. But I think you could rock that.
We can rock that. I'll get myself a little T-shirt and wear it on the show.
And maybe a cape as well. So what is permaculture? Because I think it's going to be a phrase that people won't have come across, but once you understand it, all starts to make sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So permaculture is a design method for designing a sustainable way of growing. So permanent agriculture is where it originates from, a method of growing in a sustainable way. So we look at ways where you can grow food in relationship to nature, how nature works. So rather than saying, for example, growing one massive crop, you're growing multiple things that complement each other, that work together. So it's looking at how nature works together, how plants work together. And within this, we look at 3 ethics, which is earth care, people care, and fair share or future care. And what we really focus on at Soul Haven is people care, using the earth as a means to connect people, to improve their health and well-being. So one of the principles that we use, this is permaculture principle number 2, catch and store energy. So in the essence of agriculture, we would store rain, water, and use that to water our garden, or you might capture sunlight in solar panels.
Yeah.
When we think about our mental health, we're thinking about storing energy, storing moments, storing memories, having things that can help us for the future. So you're thinking about how we store the good things that we experience to help you through the bad times. So at the moment we're in winter, and winter is a time that people can often struggle.
Yeah.
Because it's dark, it feels kind of maybe a bit repressed because you've not got so much sunlight. And then that's a time of kind of rest and acknowledging where we are. In our culture now, we've got to be moving all the time. But in the seasons, that's not the case. And maybe we need to take a bit to say, well, now is the time to take rest and reflect back on those things that we've experienced and use that to kind of get us through this dark time. And we can use that in our mental health as well, that we experience winters of the soul.
So it's about seeing winter as a positive thing and a time to rest and kind of, like you say, associating what's going on in your body with what you see out there in nature and realising that it's all part of the same process.
Absolutely, because there is a time where we need to stop. And sometimes because we're pushing ourselves to do stuff, our bodies or our minds make us stop. And realising that that's actually not a bad thing. And seeing why that's happening. And then we get to a stage where we're so, maybe we've experienced extreme stress and we just hit a wall. That's what happened to me. I was at a place where I just hit a wall. I couldn't cope with things. I was really struggling. And I was like, I want to be out there. And I was like, I just couldn't do stuff. I was physically and emotionally drained. And during that time, I was able to reflect back and find peace and start to find a way forward again and use techniques like meditation and finding that moment of peace and solitude, of getting over the anxiety, getting over the I can't do this, to, well, one step at a time. Like we said, this is a big thing. We're just taking one step, one day, one moment, 1 minute.
Did you find that it was before you had that revelation of, okay, this is what I need to do, that your brain is saying, what's wrong with my body? I want to just keep pushing myself forward, just ignoring all of what I'm going through, and just keep going. You don't understand why your body's saying no until you've had that sort of revelation.
Yes, I did, and it's something that I still have to keep reminding myself about. The last couple of weeks, I've been feeling very lethargic and kind of like struggling and going, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? So I'm thinking, I'm feeling a bit lost. I'm like, oh, actually, it's winter. It's that time of my body's not wanting to do so much because it's thinking it's going, well, look, it's dark time. You need to be sleeping, resting, hibernating.
I think also the weather the last few weeks has just been so horrible and just unpleasant. It's hard to feel motivated to step out of your front door when the wind's howling and it's pouring with rain and there's leaves blowing around everywhere and it's just freezing cold, and not in a nice way, not in a pretty way. When there's no snow, it's just cold, wet, nasty. And I think you can see why it's not just shorter days and darkness, it's just the general unpleasantness of getting out and about, and if you're stuck at home in artificial light with the central heating on the whole time, just it's not good for your body. You need fresh air, you need to be out there in nature, don't you?
Absolutely. It's being out into having daylight, giving yourself that fresh air, because then you're experiencing nature, you're giving yourself that space. And if you can't get outside, there's ways to do that by having daylight bulbs, making sure you open your curtains, and not, there's that temptation of, oh, it's dark, it's cold, let's keep everything locked in. But maybe allow that, maybe open the windows, let the air in. Yes, it's a bit cold, but then close them again, just to give that moment, or open a door, step out for just a few minutes, then back in. There's different ways that you can just take part of it, even if you're not able to go out.